Have you ever felt a strange feeling in your gut telling you to do something? That's your inner voice, and it's more powerful than you might think. This inner voice, also called intuition, can guide your life in amazing ways. But here's the thing, many people ignore it. They push it aside and listen to what others say instead. Today, we're going to learn how to tap into this amazing resource that's inside all of us. By the end of this video, you'll know how to listen to your inner voice and use it to get the right direction in life. Now, you might be wondering, why should I care about my inner voice? Well, here's the deal. If you don't learn to listen to your intuition, you might miss out on great opportunities. Think about it. How many times have you had a feeling about something, ignored it, and then later thought, I should have trusted my gut? That's your intuition trying to help you. Learning to listen to it means learning to trust yourself. And when you trust yourself, you make better choices and feel more confident in life. But here's the catch. Listening to your inner voice isn't always easy. It takes practice and patience. You need to learn how to quiet the noise around you and tune into what's inside. It's like trying to hear a whisper in a noisy room. You have to focus and really pay attention. But don't worry, we'll show you how to do this step by step. Let's start by understanding what intuition really is. Your intuition is like an inner knowing. It's that feeling you get when you just know something without knowing why. It's not about thinking hard or figuring things out with logic. Instead, it's a quick, automatic response that comes from deep inside you. Think of intuition as your inner wisdom. It's all the knowledge and experience you've gathered over your life, working behind the scenes to guide you. Sometimes it shows up as a gut feeling. Other times it might be a sudden idea or a dream. The key is, it often feels different from your regular thoughts. Here's an example of how intuition works in everyday life. Let's say you're about to leave your house, and suddenly you get a feeling that you should bring an umbrella. The sky looks clear, and the weather report didn't mention rain. But you listen to that feeling and grab the umbrella anyway. Later that day, it starts pouring, and you're the only one prepared. That's intuition in action. Or maybe you're thinking about taking a new job. On paper, it looks great. Good pay, nice office, impressive title. But something doesn't feel right. You can't put your finger on it, but there's a nagging feeling telling you to be careful. If you listen to that feeling and do some more research, you might discover that the company is having financial troubles or that the work culture is toxic. Your intuition was trying to protect you. These are just small examples, but intuition can guide us in big ways too. Many successful people talk about how following their gut feeling led them to make choices that changed their lives for the better. Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple, once said, "Have the courage to follow your heart and intuition." They somehow already know what you truly want to become. The thing is, we all have this ability. It's not some magical power that only special people have. It's a natural part of being human. The challenge is learning to recognize it, trust it, and use it to our advantage. That's what we're going to explore in this video. In the next sections, we'll dive deeper into why intuition matters so much, what gets in the way of us using it, and most importantly, how to start tapping into this inner wisdom. We'll look at practical ways to quiet your mind, recognize your intuition when it speaks, and build the confidence to trust what it's telling you. By the end, you'll have a toolkit for using your intuition to guide you towards the right path in life. Remember, your inner voice is always there, waiting to help you. It's time to start listening. Now that we understand what intuition is, let's talk about why it's so important. In our fast-paced world, we're often taught to make decisions based on facts, figures, and logic. And while these things are important, they're not the whole picture. Your intuition can pick up on subtle cues and patterns that your conscious mind might miss. It can help you make decisions faster and often more accurately than if you relied on logic alone. Think about it like this. Your conscious mind can only process a limited amount of information at once. But your subconscious mind, where intuition comes from, is constantly taking in and processing huge amounts of information from your environment and your past experiences. When your intuition speaks up, it's drawing on all of this hidden knowledge. Using your intuition can benefit you in many areas of life. In your personal relationships, it can help you understand others better and navigate tricky social situations. At work, it can guide you towards the right career path or help you solve complex problems. In everyday life, it can keep you safe by alerting you to potential dangers. But perhaps the biggest benefit of using your intuition is that it helps you live a more authentic life. When you're in tune with your inner voice, you're more likely to make choices that truly align with who you are and what you want. This leads to greater happiness and fulfillment. Let me share a story that shows the power of intuition. There was a woman named Sarah who had a successful career in finance. She had worked hard to climb the corporate ladder and was making good money. But despite her success, she felt unhappy and unfulfilled. Something didn't feel right, but she couldn't explain why. One day, while on a vacation, Sarah had a strong, intuitive feeling that she should quit her job and start teaching. This idea seemed crazy at first. She had no teaching experience and would have to take a big pay cut. But the feeling wouldn't go away. After much thought, Sarah decided to trust her intuition. She quit her job and went back to school to become a teacher. It wasn't easy, but as soon as she started working with kids, she knew she had made the right choice. She felt alive and purposeful in a way she never had before. Years later, Sarah says following her intuition was the best decision she ever made. She's happier, more fulfilled, and feels like she's making a real difference in the world. This is the power of listening to your inner voice. Now, you might be thinking, that's great for Sarah, but how do I know if I can trust my intuition? That's a great question, and it's one we'll explore in depth later in this video. The key is learning to recognize your intuition and practicing using it in small ways before relying on it for big decisions. It's also important to understand that intuition isn't about ignoring facts or logic. Instead, it's about combining your logical thinking with your inner knowing to make the best possible decisions. When you learn to balance both, you'll have a powerful toolkit for navigating life's challenges. In the next section, we'll talk about some of the common obstacles that can get in the way of us using our intuition. Understanding these challenges is the first step to overcoming them and tapping into your inner wisdom. Now that we know what intuition is and why it's important, let's talk about why many people struggle to use it. There are several common obstacles that can get in the way of us hearing and trusting our inner voice. The first big obstacle is simply that we're not taught to value intuition. From a young age, we're often told to be rational and think things through logically. While these are important skills, they can sometimes overshadow our intuitive abilities. We might start to believe that our gut feelings aren't as valid or important as our logical thoughts. Another major obstacle is fear. Trusting your intuition often means stepping into the unknown. It might mean making choices that others don't understand or approve of. This can be scary, and it's natural to want to stick with what feels safe and familiar. But remember, growth and change often happen outside of our comfort zones. The busy, noisy world we live in is also a big challenge. Our lives are often filled with constant noise and distractions. We're bombarded with information from our phones, computers, TVs, and the people around us. With all this external noise, it can be hard to hear our inner voice. It's like trying to hear a whisper in a room full of people shouting. Stress and anxiety can also drown out our intuition. When we're stressed, our minds are often racing with worries and to-do lists. This mental chatter can make it hard to tune into our deeper intuitive wisdom. It's like static on a radio, making it hard to hear the music clearly. Self-doubt is another common obstacle. Maybe you've had experiences where you didn't trust your gut and things turned out okay, or where you did trust it and things didn't work out. These experiences can make us doubt our intuitive abilities. But it's important to remember that intuition, like any skill, gets better with practice. Sometimes we might ignore our intuition because it's telling us something we don't want to hear. For example, your gut might be telling you that a relationship isn't right for you, but you really want it to work out. In cases like this, we might push aside our intuitive feelings because they're uncomfortable or inconvenient. Lastly, our own biases and assumptions can get in the way of true intuition. Sometimes what we think is intuition is actually just our preconceived notions or fears talking. Learning to distinguish between true intuition and these other mental processes is an important skill we'll discuss later. Understanding these obstacles is the first step to overcoming them. In the rest of this video, we'll explore practical strategies for clearing away these barriers and tapping into your intuition more effectively. Remember, everyone faces these challenges. Even people who seem to have strong intuition have had to learn how to overcome these obstacles. The good news is, with practice and patience, you can learn to hear your inner voice more clearly and use it to guide your life in powerful ways. In the next sections, we'll dive into specific techniques for quieting your mind, recognizing your intuition, and building the confidence to trust it. These practical tools will help you start using your intuition more effectively in your daily life. Now that we understand what intuition is and the obstacles we face, let's talk about how to actually start listening to our inner voice. The first key is learning to quiet your mind. This is crucial because, as we discussed earlier, it's hard to hear your intuition when your mind is noisy and cluttered. Think of your mind like a pond. When the water is choppy and full of waves, it's hard to see what's beneath the surface. But when the water is calm and still, you can see right to the bottom. That's what we're aiming for with our minds. A calm, clear state where we can easily pick up on our intuitive feelings. One of the best ways to quiet your mind is through meditation. Now, don't worry if you've never meditated before or if you think you're not good at it. Meditation is simply the practice of focusing your attention and letting thoughts pass by without getting caught up in them. It's a skill that anyone can learn with practice. Find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed. Sit comfortably and close your eyes. Focus on your breath, feeling the air moving in and out of your body. When thoughts come up, and they will, don't worry. Just notice them and then gently bring your attention back to your breath. Start with just 5 minutes a day and gradually increase the time as you get more comfortable. This practice helps calm your mind and makes it easier to tune into your intuition. It's like turning down the volume on all the mental chatter so you can hear your inner voice more clearly. Another great way to quiet your mind is spending time in nature. Go for a walk in the park, sit by a lake, or just spend some time in your backyard. Being in nature has a way of calming our minds and helping us connect with our inner selves. Journaling is also a powerful tool for quieting the mind. Sometimes our thoughts are racing because we have a lot of unprocessed emotions or ideas bouncing around in our heads. Writing them down can help clear your mind and make space for your intuition to come through. Remember, quieting your mind is a skill that takes practice. Don't get discouraged if you find it difficult at first. Even a few minutes of quiet mind time each day can make a big difference in your ability to hear your intuition. Once you've started to quiet your mind, the next step is learning to recognize your intuition when it speaks. This can be tricky because intuition often shows up in subtle ways. It's not always a loud, clear voice telling you what to do. Instead, it might be a quiet nudge, a gut feeling, or even a physical sensation in your body. One of the most common ways intuition shows up is as a gut feeling. You might feel a tightness or a flutter in your stomach when something isn't right, or a sense of expansion and lightness when something is right for you. Pay attention to these physical sensations. They're often your intuition trying to communicate with you. Intuition can also come as sudden ideas or aha moments. You might be going about your day when suddenly a solution to a problem pops into your head, seemingly out of nowhere. These sudden insights are often your intuition at work. Sometimes, intuition shows up in dreams or daydreams. You might have a dream that feels particularly vivid or meaningful, or find yourself daydreaming about a certain scenario. These can be ways your intuition is trying to get your attention. Another way to recognize intuition is to notice your first instinctive reaction to things. Before your logical mind kicks in and starts analyzing, what's your immediate feeling? This first response is often your intuition speaking. It's important to understand that intuition is different from fear or wishful thinking. Fear often feels constricting and makes you want to retreat, while intuition, even when it's warning you about something, feels more like it's guiding you. Wishful thinking often has a desperate quality to it, while true intuition feels calm and certain. Here's a tip to help you differentiate between intuition and random thoughts. Intuitive thoughts often feel a bit different from your regular thinking. They might seem to come from a different part of your mind or have a different tone to them. With practice, you'll start to recognize this unique quality of intuitive thoughts. To get better at recognizing your intuition, try keeping an intuition journal. When you have a gut feeling or a sudden idea, write it down. Then make a note of what happens when you follow or don't follow that intuitive hit. Over time, you'll start to see patterns and get better at recognizing what your intuition feels like for you. Remember, everyone's intuition speaks to them in slightly different ways. The key is to pay attention and start noticing how your own intuition communicates with you. With practice, you'll get better at recognizing these intuitive signals when they show up. Now that you're learning to quiet your mind and recognize your intuition, the next step is building trust in your inner voice. This is often the hardest part for many people. We're so used to relying on external sources of information that trusting our own inner knowing can feel scary or foolish. The first thing to understand is that trusting your intuition is a skill that develops over time. It's not about blindly following every gut feeling you have. Instead, it's about learning to integrate your intuitive wisdom with your logical thinking to make better decisions. One way to start building trust in your intuition is to test it out in low-stakes situations. For example, before you check the weather forecast, try to intuit what the weather will be like today. Or before you open a text message, see if you can sense who it's from. These small exercises help you practice using your intuition without any pressure. As you do this, keep track of when your intuition is right. Our brains are wired to focus on the negative, so we often remember the times our intuition was wrong and forget the times it was right. By consciously noting the successes, you'll start to see how often your intuition is actually guiding you correctly. Another important aspect of trusting your intuition is learning to differentiate it from fear or wishful thinking. Fear often feels constricting and panicky, while intuition, even when it's warning you about something, tends to feel calmer and more certain. Wishful thinking often has a quality of desperation to it, while true intuition feels more grounded. It's also crucial to understand that trusting your intuition doesn't mean ignoring facts or logic. Instead, it's about finding a balance between your logical mind and your intuitive wisdom. Sometimes, your intuition might prompt you to look more closely at the facts or consider information you might have overlooked. Building self-confidence goes hand in hand with trusting your intuition. The more you trust yourself in general, the easier it becomes to trust your inner voice. Work on building your self-esteem through positive self-talk and by acknowledging your strengths and accomplishments. Remember that it's okay to make mistakes. Even when you're in touch with your intuition, you won't always make perfect decisions. The goal is not perfection, but rather to make choices that align more closely with your true self and your deepest wisdom. One powerful way to build trust in your intuition is to reflect on past experiences where you followed or didn't follow your gut feeling. Can you remember times when you had a strong intuition about something and it turned out to be right? Reflecting on these experiences can help build your confidence in your intuitive abilities. Lastly, be patient with yourself. Learning to trust your intuition is a journey, not a destination. It's something that grows stronger with time and practice. Celebrate the small successes along the way, and don't get discouraged if you have setbacks. Each time you listen to and act on your intuition, you're strengthening this important skill. By following these keys, quieting your mind, recognizing your intuition, and building trust in your inner voice, you'll start to tap into the powerful guidance system that's always been within you. Your intuition is a valuable tool that can help you navigate life's challenges and opportunities with greater ease and clarity. In the next section, we'll look at how to put all of this into practice in your daily life. Now that we've covered the keys to accessing your intuition, let's talk about how to apply this in your everyday life. Using your intuition isn't just for big, life-changing decisions. It's a tool you can use every day to navigate life more smoothly and make choices that align with your true self. Quiet your mind. Before making a decision, take a few deep breaths and center yourself. This helps clear away mental clutter and allows your intuition to come through more clearly. State the question or problem clearly. In your mind or on paper, clearly state what you need guidance on. Listen to your body. Pay attention to how your body feels when you think about different options. Do you feel a sense of expansion or contraction? Lightness or heaviness? Notice your first instinct. What's your immediate reaction before your logical mind starts analyzing? This first response is often your intuition speaking. Imagine the outcomes. Visualize what might happen if you choose each option. How do these potential futures feel? Sleep on it. Sometimes your intuition needs time to process. Try sleeping on the decision and see how you feel in the morning. Trust the answer. Once you've received intuitive guidance, trust it enough to take action, even if it doesn't make logical sense right away. Remember, using your intuition doesn't mean ignoring logic or facts. It's about combining your inner wisdom with practical information to make the best decisions. Before checking your phone in the morning, try to sense how your day will unfold. When meeting new people, pay attention to your initial feelings about them. As you go about your day, periodically check in with your gut feelings about situations. When faced with a choice, even a small one like what to eat for lunch, practice tuning into your intuition. At the end of each day, reflect on moments when you followed or ignored your intuition and what the outcomes were. The key is to make intuition a regular part of your life, not just something you turn to in times of crisis. The more you practice, the stronger and more reliable your intuitive skills will become. As you start to use your intuition more, you might face doubts or setbacks. This is normal and part of the learning process. Here are some tips for overcoming doubts and staying consistent with your intuitive practice. Keep an intuition journal. Write down your intuitive hits and their outcomes. Over time, you'll see patterns that build your confidence. Start small. Begin by using your intuition for small, low-stakes decisions. As you build confidence, you can apply it to bigger choices. Be patient. Developing your intuition is like building a muscle. It takes time and consistent practice to strengthen it. Don't judge yourself. If you make a decision that doesn't work out, don't beat yourself up. Use it as a learning experience to fine-tune your intuitive skills. Surround yourself with support. Share your journey with friends or join a group of like-minded people who are also interested in developing their intuition. Keep learning, read books, attend workshops, or take courses on intuition and personal development. The more you understand about how intuition works, the easier it becomes to trust it. Practice self-care. Your intuition works best when you're well-rested and balanced. Take care of your physical and emotional health. Be open to surprises. Sometimes your intuition might lead you in unexpected directions. Stay open to new possibilities and experiences. Remember, everyone's intuitive journey is unique. What works for someone else might not work for you, and that's okay. The key is to keep exploring and find what resonates with you personally. As we wrap up this journey into the world of intuition, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned. We've explored what intuition is, why it matters, and how to overcome the obstacles that often get in its way. We've discovered practical techniques for quieting our minds, recognizing our intuitive signals, and building trust in our inner voice. Remember, your intuition is a powerful tool that's always available to you. It's your inner compass, guiding you towards choices that align with your true self and your deepest values. By learning to listen to and trust this inner wisdom, you're opening yourself up to a life of greater authenticity, fulfillment, and purpose. Using your intuition doesn't mean abandoning logic or ignoring facts. Instead, it's about finding a balance between your rational mind and your intuitive wisdom. When you combine both, you have a powerful toolkit for navigating life's challenges and opportunities. As you move forward from here, I encourage you to be patient and kind with yourself. Developing your intuition is a journey, not a destination. There will be times when it feels easy and natural, and times when it's more challenging. Embrace both as part of the learning process. Start small, practicing with everyday decisions, and gradually work your way up to bigger choices. Keep track of your experiences, celebrate your successes, and learn from the times when things don't go as expected. Remember, even the most intuitive people are still learning and growing. Most importantly, trust yourself. Your intuition is uniquely yours, shaped by your experiences, knowledge, and inner wisdom. As you learn to trust and follow it, you'll likely find that your life begins to flow more smoothly. You might notice that you feel more confident in your decisions, more aligned with your true path, and more at peace with yourself and the world around you. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of intuition. I hope you feel inspired and empowered to start listening to your inner voice and using your intuition to guide your life. Remember, the wisdom you seek is already within you. All you need to do is learn to listen. As you go forward, I encourage you to keep exploring, keep practicing, and keep trusting in your own inner guidance. Your intuition is a gift. Embrace it, nurture it, and watch as it helps you create a life that truly resonates with who you are at your core. Thank you for watching, and I wish you all the best on your intuitive journey. Don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful, subscribe to our channel for more content like this, and share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your journey with intuition is just beginning, and I'm excited for all the wonderful discoveries that lie ahead for you. Take care and trust your inner voice.